I'm going to go back over to our T-chart that we made the other day. We talked about diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. We spent a lot of time talking about those things together on the PowerPoint. Today, I'd like to just really quickly go over active transport with you. Active transport does require energy from the cell. The energy is in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Active transport is moving things against a concentration gradient. So it's going to be moving things and it's going to be going from an area of low concentration to high concentration. So it's kind of the opposite of diffusion. There's two types of active transport that are pretty easy to remember. Endocytosis, you're going to think of a molecule entering the cell. A type of endocytosis that refers to molecules eating is phagocytosis. Exocytosis, I want you to think of the word exit. That's when molecules leave the cell. And then you also have your sodium-potassium pumps, which are going to pump sodium and potassium into or out of the cell against a concentration gradient. These are three types of active transport, and they all require energy from the cell. So pause this for a second and make sure you get this information on your T-chart that we were working on in your overview. You'll need that for the test. It's a short answer question. So just zooming out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. That should be on your T-chart in your notes. Going back to the Cornell notes. The different types of passive transport, like we said, are diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. The next question here asks, what is diffusion and what are the principles of diffusion? I wrote this on a separate sheet of paper, so I'm going to go over to the page where I wrote about the diffusion principles. It's the movement of molecules from an area of high concentration to low concentration until evenly distributed, and it does not require energy. So pause this if you have to, and make sure you get that definition written down on your Cornell notes page. Going back to the Cornell notes, the fill in the blanks here. The rate of diffusion depends on temperature, size, and type of molecule that is diffusing. Molecules diffuse faster at higher temperatures. Small molecules diffuse faster than larger molecules. This next question about the concentration gradient, I have a picture here for you. This image shows the concentration gradient. The steeper the difference in the concentration gradient, the faster diffusion is going to take place. So if you have a lot of Kool-Aid mix in your water, it's going to diffuse at a really fast rate. If you've already got some Kool-Aid in there, the rate of diffusion is going to slow down. This picture kind of helps you see it in terms of like a sliding board. If the sliding board is really steep, you go down really fast. And if the sliding board isn't really steep, you kind of drag on down there. So that's a good picture to help you understand the concentration gradient. It just means that there's more of something on one side of the cell membrane. What does the rate of diffusion depend on? We already talked about it up here, but it's temperature, concentration, distance of diffusion, and particle size. And what is equilibrium? It's when the flow of solutes is even on both sides. I'm going to pause this here. It's a 5-minute video. Make sure that you paused where you needed to pause, rewind where you needed to rewind, and I'm going to put the second page on another video.